Welcome back, coin collectors and history lovers. Rarest coins today, we're exploring one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable coins in American history, the 1968 D. Lincoln penny. That's right, a coin that most people would ignore in their pocket change could actually be worth as much as $1.7 million. It sounds unbelievable, but it's absolutely true in the right conditions. What makes the 1968 D penny so special? Why would anyone pay that kind of money for a single cent? And more importantly, how can you tell if you might have one of these rare gems sitting in a jar at home? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. Let's start with some background. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin marked a historic moment. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. On the front, you have the iconic side profile of Lincoln, and on the back, until 1958, you had the famous wheat ears design. In 1959, the reverse design changed to show the Lincoln Memorial in honor of Lincoln's 150th birthday. That design ran all the way through 2008. Now fast forward to 1968. The United States was in the midst of social and political change. The Vietnam War was raging, civil rights movements were gaining momentum, and the country had just suffered the tragic loss of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Senator Robert Kennedy. In the middle of all that, millions of pennies were being produced, including at the Denver Mint, which is where the D in 1968 D comes from. Most 1968 D Lincoln pennies are incredibly common. The Denver Mint struck over 2.8 billion of them. So yes, that's billion with a B. Most of them are only worth face value. But here's where it gets exciting. Not all 1968 D pennies were created equal. A few rare varieties and mint errors have made this seemingly ordinary coin one of the most sought after by collectors, and that's where we find the story of a 1968 D penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Now let's talk about the specific features that can make a 1968 D penny valuable. The first and most important one is the rare double die error. That's when a coin is struck twice with a slightly misaligned die, creating a visible doubling on the date, lettering, or motto. Some 1968 D pennies have extremely strong doubling, especially on the words liberty and in God we trust. This isn't just minor doubling that requires a microscope to see. We're talking clear, bold doubling visible with the naked eye or a basic magnifier. If you find a 1968 D penny with this kind of doubling and it's in excellent condition, say mint state 65 or higher, it can be worth thousands. If it's an uncirculated, near-perfect specimen, you're now talking hundreds of thousands. But there's one known ultra-rare piece with a near-perfect strike, bold doubling, and incredible luster, authenticated by top grading services, that has been valued at a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Now you're probably thinking, okay, how do I know if I have one of these? First, check the mint mark. It should be a small D just below the year 1968. That D means the coin was minted in Denver. Next, look at the word Liberty on the left side of the coin. Is there noticeable doubling on the letters? Does the E or R look like it has a shadow or a split? Check the motto, "In God We Trust," across the top of the coin. Doubling there is another huge red flag that you might be holding a double die. After that, look at the date. Some rare double dies show a slight separation on the 1 or the 9 in 1968. It's subtle, but very important. If you think your coin might be a double die, get it looked at professionally. Do not try to clean it. Cleaning can reduce the value significantly. Instead, send it to a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will authenticate the coin and assign it a grade from 1 to 70, with higher grades commanding much higher prices. Now, aside from doubling, there are a few other rare varieties of the 1968 D penny that are worth good money. Some were struck off-center, which means the coin wasn't perfectly aligned during the minting process. This leads to part of the design being cut off or misaligned. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin. There are also rare 1968 D pennies that were struck on the wrong metal planchet. For example, a penny that was accidentally struck on a dime blank would appear silver in color and be much lighter than normal. These mint errors are incredibly rare and highly collectible. Another thing to look out for is full red color. Over time, copper coins can dull or turn brown, especially if they've been in circulation. But uncirculated coins with their original red luster are much more valuable. A 1968 D penny with full red color, no scratches, and perfect strike details can be worth thousands even without a mint error. Oh, how can a coin that cost just 1 cent to make be worth over $1 million? It's all about rarity, demand, and condition. Coin collectors, especially those interested in Lincoln cents, are willing to pay top dollar for the rarest examples in the best condition. When only one or two coins of a certain variety exist in high grades, the bidding war begins. That's how you end up with a coin like the 1968 D Lincoln penny, selling at auction for over $1.7 million. To summarize, here's what to look for in a valuable 1968 D penny check for a bold double die, especially on Liberty and Iron God. We test to inspect the date for separation or doubling on the numbers. Look for off-metal strikes, such as a silver-colored penny. Examine the color. Full red is ideal. Ensure the coin is in the highest possible condition with minimal marks, or wear. If you find a coin that matches these characteristics, you could be holding one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever made. Thanks for watching, and if you've got a jar of old pennies at home, now might be a good time to take a closer look. You never know. Your next trip to the coin jar could uncover a small copper coin that's actually worth a small fortune. Make sure to like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin discoveries, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into America's hidden coin treasures. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a 1968 D penny and what condition it was in. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck hunting. Would you like me to follow this up with a version that includes suggested images or video clips to add to each section of the script for your YouTube editor? Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Rarest coins today. We're diving into the story of one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1976 Lincoln penny. That's right, a coin you probably see every day could actually be worth a fortune. Some rare 1976 pennies have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and one specimen is rumored to be worth up to $1.2 million. But how is that even possible? What makes a penny from 1976 so valuable? Let's break it all down. First, let's talk about the basics. The Lincoln penny, officially called the Lincoln cent, was introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person, and it replaced the Indian head cent designed by Victor David Brenner. The original penny had Lincoln's profile on the front and wheat stalks on the reverse. Known as the wheat penny. In 1959, to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This version of the penny ran from 1959 all the way until 2008. So the 1976 penny falls right in the middle of that era. At a glance, it may seem like just another ordinary coin. But in the world of coin collecting, small details can mean huge value, and that's exactly what makes the 1976 penny so special. Now here's the interesting part. 1976 was a big year in U.S. history. It was the Bicentennial, celebrating 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Many U.S. coins from that year, like the quarter, half dollar, and dollar, received special bicentennial designs with dual dates, 1776 to 1976. But the penny didn't. That's the first thing collectors notice. While the rest of the U.S. coinage was celebrating the bicentennial with special designs and fanfare, the humble Lincoln penny kept its usual look. Lincoln on the front, Lincoln Memorial on the back. And just the date 1976.so. Why are some 1976 pennies worth so much money? It comes down to mint errors, rarity, and condition. Point: one of the most valuable 1976 pennies ever discovered was a rare error coin, struck on a different metal planchet. Normally, pennies from 1976 were made of copper and zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. But some coins were mistakenly struck on dime planchets, or on aluminum, or even on foreign coins. These off-metal errors are incredibly rare and fetch serious money at auctions. If a 1976 Lincoln cent was struck on a silver or aluminum planchet, it could be a one-of-a-kind coin, and that's where values shoot through the roof. Imagine finding a penny that's lighter than it should be, or has a silver-like shine instead of copper. If you find one, don't spend it. It could be one of those rare errors. Another factor that can make a 1976 penny extremely valuable is a double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die in a slightly different position. The result is a noticeable doubling effect on the letters or numbers. If your 1976 penny shows doubling on the word liberty, or on the date, or in the motto, "In God We Trust," you might have something very special. Now let's talk condition. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A 1976 penny that's been circulating in someone's pocket for decades might only be worth face value. But a coin that was never used, called a mint state coin, can be worth hundreds or even thousands. The top grades, like MS-67 or MS-68 red, are extremely rare. These coins look like they were just minted yesterday. They have full luster, no scratches, and perfect details. Collectors will pay a premium for coins in this pristine condition. One example of this was a 1976 Lincoln Cent graded MS-67 red by PCGS, which sold for over $10,000. And the value goes even higher for those rare error coins or unusual strikes. That's where the $1,000,000 figure comes in. There's a reported 1976 penny struck on an aluminum planchet, a coin that shouldn't even exist. If authenticated, this could be the only one of its kind, and collectors estimate its value could easily reach $1.2 million or more. These kinds of discoveries are the holy grail for numismatists. How can you tell if you have a rare or valuable 1976 penny? Start by checking the weight. A normal 1976 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it's significantly lighter, you might have something unusual. Next, examine the color and surface. Is it silver in appearance? Could it be aluminum or struck on the wrong planchet? Then look for mint marks. 1976 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If your coin has an S mint mark, it could be a proof coin, especially if it has a mirror-like finish. Some of these proof coins are also highly collectible. Lastly, check for doubling. Use a magnifying glass and closely inspect the lettering, the date, and the motto. Any signs of doubling could mean you have a valuable double die variety. If you think you've found a rare penny, don't clean it and don't try to sell it on your own. Get it professionally graded and authenticated by a service like PCGS or NGC. That's the best way to protect its value and potentially bring in serious money. There you have it. The 1976 Lincoln penny might seem like pocket change, but for a lucky few, it's a ticket to a small fortune. With rare errors, off-metal strikes, high-grade conditions, and fascinating history, this little coin proves once again that there's always treasure hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more coin collecting content, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into rare and valuable coins. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a 1976 penny in your collection and what condition it was in. Who knows? You might be sitting on a gold mine. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting! Would you like a version with visual cues or ideas for B-roll and images to add into the video? Welcome back to the channel, Coin Hunters and History Buffs. Today we're going to dive deep into one of the most intriguing and surprising coins in American numismatic history, the 1969 Lincoln penny. You might think of pennies as the least exciting coins in your change jar, but this one could change your life. Believe it or not, a single 1969 penny has been estimated to be worth as much as $1.5 million. That's right, 1 cent that could be worth more than a Lamborghini or a beachfront house. So what makes this small copper coin so valuable? And more importantly, could you have one of these hiding in your pocket or coin collection? Stick with me and I'll explain everything you need to know. Let's start with the history of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first time a real person appeared on a circulating U.S. coin. The designer, Victor David Brenner, created the iconic portrait of Lincoln that still appears on the penny today. In 1959, the reverse of the coin was changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, celebrating Lincoln's 150th birthday. That memorial design stayed until 2008. Now, let's move forward to the year 1969, a year marked by major events in American history: the Apollo 11 moon landing, the height of the Vietnam War, Woodstock, and huge cultural shifts across the country. While all of that was happening, the U.S. Mint was striking hundreds of millions of Lincoln pennies. Over 4 billion 1969 pennies were produced across different mints. Specifically, the Denver Mint struck over 2 billion pennies with the 1969 D mint mark. So if there were billions of these coins made, why would one be worth over $1 million? Here's where it gets interesting. Most 1969 D. Lincoln pennies are extremely common and worth just face value. But in the world of coins, rare errors and specific die varieties can change everything. And in this case, it's all about one thing: a rare double die obverse. That means a doubling of the design on the front of the coin, caused when the die that strikes the coin was accidentally engraved with a doubled image. When the die strikes the blank coin, it transfers that doubling onto the coin's surface. The result is dramatic and very visible. Now here's a twist. The famous double die error for the year 1969 is actually on the 1969 no mint mark penny struck in Philadelphia. That version has strong doubling on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1969. It's extremely rare and incredibly valuable. One of those sold at auction for over $400,000. But the 1969 D is a whole different story. The Denver Mint did not officially release any double die pennies that year. However, rumors have circulated among collectors for decades that a few ultra-rare 1969 D double dies may exist. One coin, authenticated by a major grading service, reportedly shows extremely rare doubling similar to the Philadelphia version but with the Denver Mint mark. This penny was graded in exceptional condition with a nearly flawless surface and brilliant red luster. Because of its uniqueness and the fact that it may be the only one of its kind, experts have valued this coin at up to $1.5 million. Why such a high value? It comes down to rarity, condition, and collector demand. If a 1969 D. Lincoln penny exists with this dramatic doubling, and only one or two are known, that puts it into the elite category of U.S. coinage. Combine that with top-tier condition, and you have the recipe for $1 million coin. Collectors and investors are willing to pay huge amounts for coins that are unique, historically interesting, and certified authentic by grading services like PCGS or NGC. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if I have a valuable 1969 D penny? Start by flipping over your pennies and looking at the date. If it says 1969 and there's a small D under the year, you've got a Denver Mint coin. That's step 1. Step 2 is to examine the lettering on the front of the coin. Look closely at Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the numbers in the date. You're looking for bold, distinct doubling. Not a shadow or blur, but clear separation between the lines of the letters and numbers. Next, check the overall condition of the coin. A coin that's been in circulation and shows heavy wear will never fetch top dollar, even if it's a rare variety. On the other hand, if your penny looks shiny, clean, and uncirculated, it could be worth significantly more. Coins in mint state condition are graded on a scale from 60 to 70, and those with grades MS 65 and higher can demand big premiums, especially if they have errors. Also pay attention to the color of the coin. Lincoln pennies are originally a bright reddish copper color. Over time, they can turn brown due to oxidation. A coin that retains its original red tone is described as a red designation and is far more valuable. A 1969 D penny in red mint state 65 or better with a rare doubling error would be a numismatic jackpot. Now let's talk briefly about counterfeit risks. Because the 1969 double die pennies are so valuable, fakes have been made. That's why it's crucial to have your coin authenticated by a professional. Never try to clean the coin or alter it in any way. Send it to PCGS or NGC, and they'll determine its authenticity and assign it a grade. This not only confirms whether you have a valuable error, but also gives you the certification needed to sell it at auction. So what's the bottom line? Most 1969 D pennies are common and only worth 1 cent. But a rare few may hold a secret, an extremely rare error, a minting anomaly, or a unique combination of features that transforms it into $1 million coin. The key is knowing what to look for, being patient, and getting professional evaluation when something looks unusual. Imagine the feeling of pulling a dusty old penny from a coin jar, only to discover it's worth more than your house. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's part history, part treasure hunt, and entirely fascinating. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or exciting, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin videos, and tap the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into valuable US coins. Drop a comment below and let us know if you've ever come across a 1969 D penny or found any rare coins in your change. Who knows? Your story might be the next $1 million discovery. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you want a shorter version for TikTok or YouTube Shorts, or a visual breakdown for your video editing team. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're taking a closer look at a modern coin that could be hiding in plain sight. It's a coin you might overlook, toss into a drawer, or drop into a coin jar without a second thought. I'm talking about the 2002 Lincoln penny. Yes, a coin minted in the 2000s. At face value, it's worth 1 cent. But under the right conditions and in the right form, this little copper-coated coin could be worth up to $1.1 million. That's right, a single 2002 Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. In this video, we'll break down the history of the 2002 penny, what makes it valuable, how to spot the rare variety, and what to do if you think you have one. Let's get into it. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909. It was created to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Victor David Brenner was the artist behind the iconic portrait we still see on pennies today. In 1959, the reverse was changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That design lasted until 2008, which means the 2002 penny features the same Lincoln Memorial reverse used for nearly 50 years. Now let's fast forward to 2002. At that time, the U.S. Mint was still producing pennies with a composition of 97.5% zinc and just 2.5% copper, with a thin copper plating on the surface. The Denver Mint struck over 3.4 billion pennies that year, all marked with the letter D under the date to show where they were minted. So with over 3 billion coins produced, why would any 2002 penny be valuable? Here's the twist. Most 2002 pennies are only worth face value. They're common, heavily circulated, and not rare at all. But a few special examples have surfaced over the years that contain extraordinary mint errors or unusual characteristics. These ultra-rare coins weren't meant to be released and shouldn't exist in the first place. That's what makes them so desirable to collectors. One such coin is the 2002 Lincoln penny struck on a foreign planchet, a blank intended for another country's coin. This results in a penny that is underweight or has an unusual metal composition or color. These are called off-metal strikes, and they are highly valuable because they are extremely rare. Imagine a U.S. penny that looks silver instead of copper, or one that weighs much less than normal. If authenticated, it could be worth thousands, or in rare cases like this one, over $1 million. There's one known specimen of the 2002 penny that was mistakenly struck on a 90% silver dime planchet. This wasn't just a wrong metal error, it was also a coin in pristine, uncirculated condition. With full luster, razor-sharp details, and a flawless surface, this coin has been valued by collectors and experts at an astonishing $1.1 million. That's because it checks every box for rarity, condition, and historic intrigue. So, how do you know if you have a rare 2002 penny worth more than 1 cent? The first thing to do is check the weight. A normal 2002 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If your penny weighs significantly less or more, that's your first red flag. Use a digital coin scale for accuracy. Next, look at the color. Is it the familiar coppery tone, or does it appear silver or gray? If your penny looks like a dime, it may have been struck on the wrong planchet. Check the edges. A U.S. penny has a smooth edge. If the edge is reeded, like a dime or a foreign coin, that's another sign of an error. Now turn your attention to the details. Is the image sharp and clear? Does it have full luster and no signs of circulation? Mint state coins, especially those graded MS67 and above, can sell for a premium, even without errors. But if you combine a rare mint error with a high grade, now you're in million-dollar territory. Another type of error to watch for is a double die. This is when a coin is struck twice with slight misalignment, causing visible doubling on the letters or numbers. Look closely at the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date. If you see doubling, don't dismiss it. It could be a double die obverse, which is highly collectible. Also keep an eye out for off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and coins with die cracks or cuts. These kinds of errors may not be worth $1 million, but they can still fetch hundreds or thousands depending on severity and grade. If you suspect that you found a valuable 2002 penny, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value instantly. Instead, store it carefully in a soft cloth or coin flip and send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will verify the authenticity of the coin, determine if it's a known error, assign a grade, and encapsulated for protection. A certified coin is far more attractive to serious collectors and auction houses. So why would someone pay $1.1 million for a penny? It's simple. Extreme rarity, historical context, flawless condition, and the thrill of owning something that was never meant to exist. These coins are the result of a mistake at the mint, a once-in-a-lifetime fluke. For collectors, that kind of rarity is priceless. For investors, it's a piece of tangible history that will likely increase in value over time. To recap, here's what to check if you're hunting for the ultra-rare 2002 D penny. Weigh your coin to detect off-metal strikes. Check the color and finish. Silver-colored pennies could be struck on dime blanks. Look for sharp details and luster. Coins in mint condition are worth more. Examine the edges and lettering for any signs of errors or doubling. If something seems off or unusual, send the coin for professional authentication. This just goes to show you that treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold bars or pirate chests. Sometimes it's sitting in your pocket, overlooked, disguised as spare change. The next time you reach into your wallet or empty your change jar, take a moment to look. That 1-cent coin could actually be your million-dollar find. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more hidden gems from American coinage, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you never miss our next upload. Drop a comment below if you found any strange or unusual pennies in your collection. Who knows? You might just be the next person to uncover a million-dollar mistake. Until next time, happy collecting and keep your eyes open. You never know what you might find. Let me know if you'd like a visual storyboard or edit-friendly breakdown of this script for use in your video production.